back to Steve. He's talking about how he then like sort of becomes himself as an artist and like who he's inspired by. So like Ed Banger Records is like a big inspiration for him. So that's like Justice. Like he says, going to Justice's 2008 Coachella show like blows his mind that like, you know, that
they would do that.
Yeah, just like the light up cross and the.
Should we tell our fucking Justice story now? We saw Justice at
Have we told this already?
We saw Justice.
We've been potting so long that I'm like, oh no.
Did we do this one? We saw Justice at Panorama a few years ago, and they came on and they were in a big tent and they had their big like cross, and it was just two French guys standing across from each other like doing knobs and synths against each other. And after like the first 15 minutes, which was jamming, there was just like a high pitched squeal like that like went on for a long time, and then it cut off and the sound stopped, and both of them had both been smoking cigarettes during their set, which was like, I appreciate it as being incredibly French. And one of them just came up to the front of the stage with the cigarette in his mouth, just gesticulating wildly. I mean, you probably do a better French person impersonation than me, but you know, like however Molly would translate this as being like, is this also you? Is this you? Just like looking out at the sound guy.
Where is the error of the sound equipment? Is it with us? Something with the speakers?
Like taking big drags out of the cigarette, is being like,
Je ne comprends.
Just shrugging and like doing the mime stance and being like, I do not know. I do not know if this is me or is this you? Is it us? Is it you? Is it you? I believe it is you. I think it is. We are. Everything is good up here. Is it with us? And then they just walk off the stage and the set.
And we decided to dip. Yeah, it was freaking sick until that point. Though.
It was a great 15 minutes, and then like 2 minutes of the most French expressions that I have ever seen, and then nothing.
I have heard rumors that Justice are actually like press play guys. Like they don't do anything, which that's fine. I don't care.
Fine. You made the music. It's cool.
It is fine. I don't care.
We produce the sound in the studio. What do we need to do to reproduce?
I am not watching you turn the knobs.
We are made with the light up cross. It says what we want to say.
We create the music once. You wanted to create it anew again and again.
That's the point of doing it twice.
C'est très stupide. Merde. Anyway, so Ed Banger, huge influence on Steve. Daft Punk, huge influence on Steve, and Daft Punk is those two are basically like, hey, instead of just like playing dance music, like have a show, have visuals, like have some kind of like visual brand. And so he gets the opportunity to play Coachella, which I think is in 2008 or 9 for the first time. He receives a fee of $4,000.
Okay,
and he spends $5,000 on LED lights, like signs that say Aoki, just spell out Aoki. Here's the problem. It's Coachella. Show starts at noon and his slot is at like 2 p.m.
Oh, he does that early in 2008 or 9? Yeah.
You can't see LED lights in the daytime in the desert. So he's like, damn, I really bungled that one. Like homie spent more than his fee on these lights.
I would be surprised that for a 2 p.m. slot that Coachella would even entertain the idea of rolling out your custom lights.
I think within reason, like as long as it's not completely insane, you can get your little stage going. I don't know. I'm more surprised $4,000. I would expect less for
2 p.m. That's about what I would expect for the 2 p.m. slot at Coachella.
So then he like takes things a step further and he's trying to synthesize. He's like, what did I like the most about hardcore music and like participating in like a hardcore show, and how can I bring that energy to EDM? So he does things like brings inflatable pool rafts that he then crowd surfs on and lets other people crowd surf,
which he did in that documentary like much later into his career.
Yeah. And then he does the caking.
The caking.
Do you know about the caking?
I saw it in the documentary.
Yes. So Steve Aoki, that's his thing. That's like his signature thing. And he tried to stop doing it for a while, and then he was like, no, it's better that I do.
The fans demand it.
So he brings, the genesis for the idea, like he just happened to like have a cake, and then someone was in the audience was begging him to throw it at them. He's like, hit me in the face with his cake, bro.
Give me the cake. I want the cake.
And so he did it, and then he realized like how powerful it was. I'm like, this is all scare quotes. Like he's like, oh, I get, like this is something that It's interactive.
It's a resonant moment.
It creates like a memory.
Yeah.
It's not. There's like it's punctuation because
remember that part in the Steve Aoki set where he threw a cake at the audience?
Yeah, and like that was me, and I got cake.
I got the cake,
and then I took a selfie with my Canon Power Shot and posted on MySpace, and now everyone's like, "Bro, that's so
caked.
crazy, bro!" I thought, I'm seeing Steve in Minneapolis.
I hope I get the cake.
I hope I get caked. So it's a meme.
Yeah.
He made a live show meme.
Yeah.
And he said branding 101, hit on a successful formula and then go looking for ways to put it to work to produce the same successful outcome. Steve's one rule for caking: no chocolate cakes because it looks like people are covered in shit.
That's a good rule.
Yeah. He said he did vanilla cakes for the first couple cakings because that was what was around and available. And then he did a chocolate cake and he caked a girl who started then crying because she's like, it looks like I'm covered in shit.
I'm sure he was very sorry about that. He's like, I see what I've done. I will adjust in the future.
I made a huge mistake.
I'm learning. I'm growing.
He notes that there are promoters who refuse to book him if he caked.
Oh, okay.
Cake haters, if you will. And he's like, fuck that shit, whatever. And then he announced at one point that he was retiring caking, and the promoters still wouldn't book him. So what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point?
Just do the cake. It's fine.
He says now, he says, I've been caking for 8 years, 10 cakes a show.
10 cakes a
250 shows a year.
Oh, so 2,500 cakes a year?
He says he has thrown 15,000 cakes in his life and has a rotator cuff, a torn rotator cuff.
From throwing cakes?
From throwing cakes.
Well, look, if I'm thinking of like a standard round birthday cake, like that's, you have to really launch that into the audience.
They do big ones too. Like they're not like, I think the range is usually a couple people end up with a significant amount of cake on them.
That's a hilarious bit to commit to. 2,500 cakes is a lot of cakes.
Yeah.
10 cakes a show. Honestly, dude, I get what you're trying to do. That's too many cakes. You got to make it. It should be like
that's too much cake, man.
It should be a signature moment. There should be one cake per show, and that should be like the highlight.
But that's branding 101. You seize a moment and repeat it for maximum,
I guess. I don't know. That's too many.
Do you want one guy who leaves the Steve Aoki show saying I got caked, or do you want 10 guys posting about it on Instagram, posting about it on Facebook?
He's right.
It's not ideal, but
I would scale down to 5 to 7 cakes.
Okay. I think you gotta max out, it's an economic situation.
True.